Lesson 10, Light and Shadows. In this lesson, you will come to know about objects as transparent, translucent, opaque, and the features of each type of objects. Here, you will learn about the objects as transparent, translucent, opaque, and the feature of transparent, translucent, and opaque objects. Formation of shadow in day, night, dim light. Condition for formation of shadow. What are the conditions for the formation of shadows in day and night formation, solar and lunar eclipse? So we'll start the lesson. Here we'll get ready to read the lesson. This is given in your book. Circle the luminous objects in the word search. So children, here some images are there. You have to circle the luminous object. For doing that, you should know the meaning of luminous. Luminous means the object which has light, which are bright. So, such objects are here: sun, candle, sun, candle, bulb. These objects are luminous. So, here in this box, in this grid box, you have to find the name. So, where is the name of sun? Yes, see, sun, sun. Similarly, there will be name of other objects also, such as candle and bulb. So, you have to circle the luminous objects in word search. This is a word search and find it out, the luminous object. Clear? Now, the lesson. We know that light is a form of energy. Everyone know that light is a type of energy. Light helps us to see objects. Without light, it is not possible to see object. For seeing the object, we need light. That may be light of sun or light of your bulb, tube light, etc. The sun is the main source of light on the earth, but we also get light from some other sources such as candles, bulbs, and torches. For any object to be visible, light from a source has to fall on it, bounce back from its surface, and then enter our eyes. So, with the help of this picture, here it is explained that how we are able to see an object. This is an object. Here an apple is an object. To be visible, how you are able to see the object? What happened? Light. Here the object of light is bulb. So light from this source. This is the source of light here. Here sun is not there. Bulb is there. So this source of light, due to this source of light, what happened? This light falls on this object. This is the object, apple is object, and this light falls on it. Then what happened? This bounce back from its surface. This is the surface of the apple, and it bounces back from its surface, and then it enters our eyes. So how it is possible to see an object? Okay, is it clear, children? This way we are able to see an object. Now, propagation of light. Light reflected from source or is reflected from a non-luminous body. Light travels from a source or is reflected from a non-luminous body. Non-luminous body means that object which doesn't have light. We know that light travels in straight line as long as it is traveling in the same medium. It can pass through a transparent material and partially through a translucent material. However, if an opaque object is placed in the path of light, the light gets blocked based on how much light is able to pass through them. objects can be grouped into three categories. Now I have set the name of opaque objects, transparent objects, translucent objects. So these are the three categories on which the objects are divided or grouped. So one by one we are going to study about all these categories. First of all, we will learn about the opaque objects. Wood and metal are example of opaque objects. Here you can see some bricks are also there. So these all are the example of opaque objects. What happens in opaque objects? No light can pass through such objects. You just keep a book in front of bulb or candle, then what you will find that no light will pass through that object. So they form clear and dark shadow. No light pass through, so what happened? It forms a clear and dark shadow. We cannot see anything through an opaque object. We cannot look through wooden door. Is it possible to look through the wooden door outside? No, no. But instead of that wooden door, if glass is there, you can see. Isn't it, children? So, opaque object means that object which from which light is not passing at all. Okay, that objects are opaque objects. No light can pass through such objects. Example like brick, wood, book, all these things. Next we are going to study about transparent objects. Transparent objects, these objects allow almost all light to pass through them. So transparent objects do not cast a shadow because all light pass through this object. So what happened? It is not cast, it doesn't cast any shadow. Object viewed through a transparent object can be seen clearly. Whatever you are seeing from this transparent object, you can see clearly. Plain glass is an example of transparent object. Here water clear glass is there. This is an example of transparent object. This transparent object, it doesn't block any light. Next is translucent. Butter paper is an example of translucent object. Such objects block only a part of the light. It blocks the partially light. Means you are not able to see clearly through that object. You are not able to see clearly, okay, through that object because that is translucent. So partially only you can see the faint figure of that, okay, faint shadow. Object viewed through a lucent object look hazy. Hazy means not clear, okay, it is fainted. So that objects are translucent object. Example is butter paper. So here you have studied about that objects can be grouped into three categories, that are transparent, opaque and translucent. Clear? Now next we are going to study about shadow. What is shadow? When an opaque object blocks the path of light, a dark area is seen behind it. This dark area is called the shadow of that object. When an object blocks the path of light, okay, as I had given the example of wood and bricks, so it blocks the path of light, then what happens? That a dark area is seen behind it. The dark area which you see behind that object, that is called the shadow. Shadow are formed because light travels in straight line. Light cannot pass through an opaque object, so the area behind it becomes dark. Shadow change with the position of sun source of light. The length of a shadow is long. Here you can see the example of opaque shadow. Like here, what happened, children? That this is your image of your hand. Then here, this is the source of light. this light passes through it. So here what happened? Light blocks. Here what happened? Light blocks. Then when the light is blocked here, then this dark image you can see. This dark image is shadow. Clear? This dark image is shadow. Now we were talking about that how the shadow change the position of the sun, source of light. Due to the source of light, how shadow change its position, that you can see with the help of this image. This is morning time, noon and afternoon. Morning, noon and afternoon. The length of a shadow is long in the morning. Here you can see this is your sun and sunlight. This our image is an opaque, no? Because light doesn't pass through us. We are an opaque object. So this boy is an opaque object. So light is passing here. So what happened? Here, this dark portion is its shadow. So what happened? The length of a shadow is long in the morning. It is shortest at the noon. At noon, when the sun is overhead, so it makes the short shadow and becomes long again as the sun sets in the evening. When the sun sets, the light becomes dim. The shadow of any object will not be as clear at the time as it was during the day. Day, the shadow is very clear, but at evening, the light is dim. The sunlight is dim. So, the shadow is not very clear. At night, when there is no light, we do not see any shadow. In dark, you can't see any shadow. So, this is the shadow. This in the morning, why shadow is longer? Because it is not when the sun is overhead, the shadow is shorter. Okay. Now, condition for the formation of shadow. They are the condition that how a shadow is formed. First is a source of light. If light is not there, you cannot find any shadow. Second, an opaque object to block the path of light. If any opaque object is not there, if the path of the light is not blocked, shadow will not be able to appear. An opaque screen on which the shadow can form. And an opaque screen should be there on which the shadow is formed. So these are the conditions for the formation of shadow as I have explained you now. Now eclipses. What is eclipses? Eclipses are shadows formed in the universe. These eclipses are the shadows which are formed in the whole universe. The sun is a source of light, while the earth and moon are opaque objects. You know, children, here you can see here in this image, only one source of light is here, that is the sun. The sun is a source of light, while this earth and moon, they are all opaque objects. They are not transparent. They are neither translucent, they are an opaque object. So it blocks the light of sun. It blocks the light of sun. Clear? So they block the path of sunlight during their movements. Sometimes the sun, the earth, and the moon come in a straight line. These all are in straight line. In such situation, the moon or the earth casts a shadow on the other. So what happened? They are getting light from the sun. But once what happened? That they all come in one straight line. So they block the light of sunlight and they cast shadow. This result is blocking the view of sun or the moon for some time. When we cannot see sun or the moon for such reason, we call it an eclipse. What is eclipse? When we are not able to see the sun or the moon for some times. Why? Because they all are in straight line. So moon and earth blocks the light of sun. So that is called eclipse. So here is an image of solar eclipse. When the moon comes in between the earth and the sun, when moon is between earth and the sun, that is called solar eclipse. Okay, it blocks sunlight and casts its shadow on the earth, because moon blocks the sunlight, and this you can see children, here is the shadow. So it is the shadow. So it blocks sunlight and casts its shadow on earth, where it is casting the shadow on the earth. So in those part of the earth where this shadow falls, the sun cannot be seen. That part, this part. So who is here, no, who is living here, they are not able to see the sun. So what happened here? Shadows are cast. Here shadow is cast. So in this part of earth where the shadow falls, the sun cannot be seen. This is called solar eclipse. From here we'll see that here is solar eclipse. When only a portion of the sun is blocked by the moon, only some portion of the sun is blocked, not the, because moon is smaller, no, so some portion here, that from here you can see, so it is called partial solar eclipse. When the sun is completely covered by the moon, it is called total. This portion is total solar eclipse, and the other portion where the shadow is partially formed, that is partial solar eclipse. Now we'll study about lunar eclipse. This, remember children, moon is between earth and sun. Now lunar eclipse. Here you can see that earth is between the sun and the moon. When the earth comes in between the sun and the moon, it blocks sunlight from reaching the moon's surface. Here, due to earth, that light of sun is not able to reach to the moon's surface, and the shaded part of the moon cannot be seen. This shaded part of the moon, you are not able to, nobody is able to see, it is unseen. So this is called the lunar eclipse. Understood? When earth is in between, that is lunar eclipse. When the moon is in between, that is the solar eclipse. Only part of moon is covered by the earth shadow. In total lunar eclipse, the moon is completely, here you can see, completely covered by the earth shadow. So this is the total lunar eclipse. Now we'll study about the motion of the earth. The sun is the major source of light on the earth. The amount of light that a part of earth gets depends on the motion of the earth. The motion of the earth are rotation and revolution. There are two motions of the earth, that is rotation and revolution, that you have studied in your third standard also, or in fourth also maybe. So rotation, you know, when the earth moves on its axis, that is rotation. So how it happens? Here is an example is given. Push a knitting needle through the center of an orange. Just this is your orange, and you can put a needle through the center. Keep the needle still as you turn the orange about it. So you have to keep, here you can see the example, this needle should be still like that. Then what you have to do, just as the orange turns about the needle, you have to turn the orange about the needle. The earth turns about an imaginary line. This needle is no an imaginary line. That is not the real line, it is an imaginary line that passes through its center. This imaginary line is called axis. This line is said to be axis, children. Okay. This line is axis. The axis of earth is slightly tilted. Here you can see it is not straight, it is slightly tilted. It's straight is like that. So this is not straight. The axis of the earth is slightly tilted. The spinning moment of earth about its axis is called rotation. When the earth moves on this imaginary line, which is called axis, the earth moves like that, no, on this imaginary line on its axis, that is called rotation. It takes 24 hours for the earth to complete one rotation. In one rotation, this rotation, this movement takes 24 hours to complete. How much time? 24 hours to complete. The rotation of earth causes day and night. Because of this is the, just you think, no, this is the sun, no, sunlight is forming there. So the rotation, because of this rotation of the earth, na, so the the part of the earth which is in front of the earth, sorry, in front of the sun, that is the day, and which is the behind the sun, that is night. So it takes one day means 24 hours to make day and night. Day and night, as the earth rotates on its axis at any given time, half of its face the sun, this portion gets the sunlight, so it has day. The other half, which away from the sun, which is behind the sun, during the same time remains dark. So this portion, children, remains dark. Okay, so there is the night. For example, when it is day in India, it is night in the United States of America. The portion, if here is India, so this is United Kingdom. No? So there is night, and in India there is day. As both countries are situated on almost opposite side of the earth, because they are in the opposite side of the earth. Next, we are going to study about revolution. Earth is a planet, so it also goes around or revolves around the sun. This movement of earth around the sun is called revolution. As I have told that earth is the planet. Here no, this is your sun. So here earth is one of the planet, and after that all other planets are there, no? Like Mercury, your Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter. So all your 8 planets are there. So our, as I have told, that revolution is the movement of earth around the sun is called revolution. The movement of this movement of the earth around the sun, earth is moving around the sun. Okay, this movement is called revolution. Earth is a planet, so it also goes around or revolves around the sun. This movement of earth around the sun is called revolution. It takes 365 1 by 4th days or 1 year for the earth to complete one revolution, and it is causing, what it is causing, it is causing change in seasons, it is causing change in season. So this all you have studied in this chapter. You came to know about revolution, rotation, lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, and the objects like transparent, translucent, and opaque. So here our lesson is over. Just read it and try to understand. Thank you, children.